Welcome to a very impromptu The Parents Lounge Friday afternoon edition. Jason, how are you, brother? Oh, you're muted. Oh, you're muted.
It's only Thursday, but you're close.
What did I say?
You said Friday.
Did I? Okay. Okay.
That's where the show's going.
Did I say Friday? Hey, Paranormal 60 with Dave Schrader. You were like the last text I'm looking at is, hey, are you going to make it? Because I'm here. We have a fantastic random show this afternoon. We're going at this time because we have a very special guest, and this is when he can do it. And we were going to pre-record it and put it up tonight, but we thought, just send it out into the real world and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this one. And we got Claire. Claire's going to join us.
Claire's going to join us. I know. So it's going to be super fun. I'm Jamie Kaler. I'm joined as always by my partner in crime, Jason Gowan. I should say my parent in crime would be a way. That should be the T-shirt, parent in crime. And we are very thankful to all the people who come out and watch and share the show and subscribe and follow and like. It's become quite a. It's like one of those support group therapies, except we're not in the basement of a church drinking bad coffee and smoking cigarettes. We're just in the comfort of our own home, drinking alcohol and then stumbling up to bed.
Sometimes I don't even go up the stairs. I just stay wherever I fall.
No, I know for a fact that you have a dog bed next to your desk, and sometimes you just lay down in there. And you probably I think you have a bowl of like Skittles or something down there.
Yeah, you know me so well.
I know you far too well. All right, let's get it going because this gentleman is here. He's fantastic. You would know him from. I mean, the list is crazy, right?
Right.
Lost,
Heroes.
Basically, every single. We're gonna have to talk to him about it because I want to know if he saved J.J. Abrams from a fire. That's the question, because somehow. J.J. Abrams either has been convinced that this gentleman, he's a fantastic actor, is the greatest actor of all time, or maybe he has one of his children held hostage or something because he's the John C. McGinley to J.J. Abrams' Oliver Stone, and I am so jealous I can't even tell you. Greg Grunberg is here today.
Yes.
And of course, we're going to be joined by our resident voice of reason, Claire Kramer, who's probably just gonna, teach us a lesson or two, like most moms do. Who's here? So we are gonna play our opening title. It's 90 seconds. I know this is the afternoon. It's gonna replay at tonight, and we're gonna leave this little block so you can go pour yourself a stiff one, which I actually may do because it's already been a day. We're gonna talk.
I already have one ready.
Do you? I want to get like an absinthe drip that just kind of
like an IV.
Like a hat, but instead of 2 beer cans, it's just absinthe, a sugar cube, and then you know how they pour water over it and just.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on board.
Oh, I'm on board. Are you ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Hit it. We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to the Parents Lounge. Please welcome Greg Grunberg and Claire Kramer.
Hey, guys.
That is fantastic, that little montage. That's like the thing that comes up on your phone. One came up on my phone, and it was like, your trip to Boston from 12 years ago. And they already put it to music, and and I'm like, I'm in my trailer or something, and I'm just like, What a great trip. I remember.
You know, I think the one thing, and first of all, Greg, welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
hey, yeah. Now I'm jealous and
I
happy.
went and got an orange Fanta. I'm so lame. I mean,
So I'm sorry, Claire. Let me just tell everybody what's in here.
Yeah, let's go.
So I go to both my boys play baseball. One's at LMU, and we have this thing. There's this old guy named Bob who is an LMU alum, and he comes to games, and in the middle of the fourth inning, he passes out lollipops, and we call him Rally Bob. So it's like rally, and we started now a thing called the Rally Flask. So cheers, guys. In here is a whiskey flavored in peanut butter and jelly. Couldn't be more parents' lounge if I tried.
that is pretty funny.
You've just been grandfathered into the gang, you know.
Yeah.
that-
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
So
why?
this-
How the peanut butter and jelly? Like, what's happening with that? Is that in case like someone smells your breath, they don't smell whiskey?
Exactly. Step
No,
out
we
of
had
the
to
car,
get rid of
please.
the
Have you been
masks.
eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? No, there's a dad there. It was like, there's flavor infused whiskeys, and I tasted it, and I thought it was going to be medicinal and like cough syrupy, which it is a little, but it's actually pretty good. It's like what's like Fireball, but with PB&J kind of instead of cinnamon.
Right.
Where would I get this?
I will send you a link since I don't make it. This is not the
Okay.
whiskey that I'm a part of. Although there is whiskey I'm a part of. But I will send you the link.
Oh, send me both. I need it.
Okay.
The more
You're part of a whiskey. Let's talk about that for a second, because I mean, the only reason I'm drinking this is because I got to go pick up my kids from school, and I don't want to create any online evidence just in case.
Right.
Jamie, that's what Uber's for.
Yeah.
Before
we
how funny would it be if you had an Uber and you go, hey, the car line, can you pull into the car line right there? And the teachers are trying to drop the kids off, and you're in the back seat with the window rolled down. Like, sorry, I started drinking at noon, so
a little bit early.
Right. You roll the window down, and all this smoke just comes out of the car.
I'm vaping. Kaylers, first grade and third grade, the redheads. That's what we
I
get.
swear to God, I want you just for a social experiment, and that reason only, Jamie. I want you to take an Uber, preferably not an Uber Black or XL, just an Uber to pick up your kids one day at St. Francis and see what happens.
That would be hilarious.
I wanted, if I ever get pulled over and I'm stone sober, I want to act really drunk and then fuck with the guy and then have him pull you out and you kind of mess around and then they blow you and you blow 0.0 and he's like, wait,
just kidding.
kidding.
I'm
And
an
then they conk you
actor.
and arrest you for something else.
Right, exactly. So the whiskey, there's this great guy named Colin, and he's part of an 18th generation family that from Scotland that makes whiskey. And he came over here and he set up shop on Whidbey Island, which is right off the Seattle coast. The climate's very much the same.
Yeah.
And everything. And I stumbled across him from these guys that I was doing a movie with. And they said he's looking for somebody to, like a celeb, to help him and can't afford, the A-lister. So he's going to the B-lister, bringing in the B-list squad. And so I helped him out a little bit. And the sad news is recently, I think they had to close shop because COVID just destroyed them. But there are some bottles left at Bevmo and all that. It's called Cadee, Cadee. You won't be able to find it very much longer. It is so delicious. It's crazy. It's just really, really smooth. Really.
We need a whiskey sponsor. We have a vineyard that we do shows with, 16600, and we have a chocolate chip cookie maker who we work with. So we're trying to find the right whiskey outlet to everything that parenting should be about is wine, chocolate chip cookies, and
Whiskey.
Right.
Exactly.
So, Greg, you have I see your photos online and all the other podcasts and stuff. I'm so amazed by your sons playing baseball and now tearing it up, man. It's crazy because our kids are young. My kids are super, and Jason's are even younger than mine. So
yeah, we just started potty training. So
I got to say, first of all, Claire and I are really close. We've known each other for a long time. So when I see, Claire, I think has 18 or 19 children, and when I see the photos of this beautiful family, your kids are so gorgeous. I thought my kids were cute, and then it's like baseball. So you play t-ball, you play this, and then you want to play high school ball, and then suddenly you're with a bunch of kids, and you're like, wow, oh, this is baseball. Then you go to college, and you're like, or travel ball, and you're like, oh man, these kids are really great. It's the same level of cuteness. I thought my kids were cute, and then I was like, oh, these are cute kids. But I am jealous when I hear of people that have kids that are younger. My boys, Sam, who just left, he's got a game I'm going to get to at 3:30. Sam's goes to Calabasas, and he's just tearing it up. He's having a great time. But yeah, he's featured in the LA Times and the Daily News and stuff because he's doing well. And he's going off to play college ball next year. And then my other guy, is his last year. He plays for LMU, Loyola Marymount University. And so my wife and I are like, this is the last time we're going to see him play baseball. So we're going to every game. We're going to travel. We're going to Utah. I'm going to San Diego next week. We're going to San Francisco. We usually didn't travel with the team, but now we're gonna try as best we can to get out.
You gotta soak in those moments. I remember when we were doing, I think it was Big Ass Spider, you came to set one day and you were like, you gave me the best piece of advice, because I think I had 2 little ones and I was actually pregnant during the movie, which now is the Spider baby. Although I didn't tell anyone at the time. But you said like, I just, I was laying down with one of my boys and I fell asleep and like, I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was like in the bed with them. And I was like, man, I just got to enjoy this because pretty soon they're going to be off to college. And you were so right.
Yeah.
Like I always think about that, or I've thought about that many times over the years, is like, yeah, just soak in those moments. Maybe it's a pain in the ass, but like soak in those moments now because they go away so quickly.
Yeah. Jake's 26 and he's our oldest.
I'm sorry, what?
26,
dude.
Yeah.
When did you start having children?
I was raped at 3.
Because I know you're 34 years old, so that would make 7. That's insanity.
Yeah, I'm 55 this year, so I'm up there. I use a lot of Just for Men on my hair. And wait a minute, Cheryl, yours is 37. 37, so you're free. That's really
Greg, I'm older than you, and I have a 6-year-old. I started having kids at 50. I've made some terrible choices in life, my brother.
No, you clearly didn't. Look at your face. Look in the mirror, dude. You didn't make any bad choices. You did good.
You didn't make any bad choices.
I know.
What comedian said they just?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, those are so cute. I need a better background for a kids show.
Yeah.
But anyway, what comedian, Jamie, was it Chris Rock? I feel like it was, that made the joke about like Robert De Niro like getting a vasectomy because he saw Robert De Niro like with a 6-year-old. It was like, I don't need that in my life,
Oh my God.
No, listen, if you're De Niro, I think it's going to be fine. You got 3 assistants, a nanny.
Right.
I'll stop by this week sometime.
I have a really funny story. Elizabeth and I are living in Sherman Oaks, and we were living in this little apartment. This right before the earthquake, and this is how long ago it was. And there was a place called the Industrial Shoe Warehouse. Do you guys remember this place?
Sure.
They have the sexiest posters ever. They have like these hot women in work boots. And you're just like, I'm going to go get shoes there. Yeah. Anyway, both of us needed a pair of shoes. We went in and I look over and there's Dice. Andrew Dice Clay is sitting there getting some shoes. He's trying some shoes on. And standing next to him, I mean, it really does look like one of your kids, Claire. Like the cute, I couldn't tell boy or girl. That's how beautiful this kid was. A Goldilocks kind of hair, really little, and he's bent over and he's trying on this shoe, and the kid is just standing there next to him with an ice cream cone, and the ice cream, and it's just melting all over the kid's hand, and just staring at Dice like this, like super close, right? I mean, obviously it was his kid, and he's tying a shoe, and he looks over and he goes, "Lick it!" I was like, this is the best parenting I've ever seen. And then cut to Stars Born, and we're working on the show. We're working on the movie together, and I go, "Okay, you're never gonna remember this." And he didn't remember that, but he said, he goes, "My son's coming today." And in walks this kid, same beautiful blonde hair. Like, this guy is a stud. He's in a band. Couldn't have been nicer. But it was like that, going back to seeing a famous dad. It was just so funny.
That is like my favorite story because A, it's super Valley, and B, it's super like Andrew Dice Clay. He gave you what you wanted in that moment.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
But it also shows you what a great with a comic, they're always like, find your point of view. And once you find your point of view, all you're doing is speaking as yourself. So it's not an act. That's exactly who Andrew Dice Clay is.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Hey,
I never thought about it that way.
It's so similar. So last night, my daughter, she's on the cheer team, Claire, and she had to take the cheer picture this morning. So we had to find her cheer uniform at like 8:30 last night as we're trying to put her down. She's melting down. And I'm like, I didn't touch it. My wife's like, you probably threw it out. I didn't. Why would I throw it out? She kept saying, you threw it out. You threw it out. You threw it out. Blamed me. I'm stumbling around the house trying to look for it. I finally go out to the car. I can't find it. She goes, they're like, maybe it's in the car. I go, look in the car. I come back in. It's all quiet. I go, did you find it? And my wife goes, yeah, we found it. It was in the closet, where I know for a fact my wife put it there, because otherwise there's no way it was in the closet. It was perfectly placed or whatever. And so, but she says to me, she goes, yeah, we found it. It was in the closet. And my little 8-year-old daughter says, yeah, as soon as you took your negativity outside the house, we found it.
No way.
Fucking snapped. I snapped. I go, I fucking exploded on her. It was a bad night. I was like, you don't say that shit to me. I melted on her. I go, I'm in the car looking for your stupid thing. And I go, shit. I said shit like 3 times to her, and she was like, that was it. We didn't speak again for the rest of the night. And I was like, and then I went down to kiss her, because I was in bed, and I was like, I wanted to put my fist through the wall. And I went downstairs to kiss her, and she was asleep. And I was like, is she faking asleep or whatever? Kissed her in her sleep. She was all sweaty. And then
I close to her, and she went.
She got up, and she's like, hey, you going to make pancakes? No, I'm not. And you owe me an apology. And I was like a little girl. It ended terribly. I drove her to school. My wife's leaving for a week. It's just me and the two of them. And I asked her to unload the dishwasher, and my wife goes, we should start paying them. Why don't we pay you 50 cents I go, no, we're not paying that kid a cent. You unload that dishwasher. In the other room, I fucking lost my shit. I think she was trying to be funny, because she's kind of a smartass. I wonder where she gets it. And
Well, let's talk about this, Joe, in general, because like we've gone through some major stuff in our family, right? Because I got to plug my new series, because The Caregiver, because it is,
of course,
it is exactly what you're talking about. It's the frustration of those moments when you might be upset at something else and some little petty thing, and you don't even realize it in the moment. You just you say something that you normally wouldn't say. I mean, they're not adults. They're not adults. Like you. I mean, it's so funny, because like you see other parents and they talk to their kids, and you go, come on, like really? It's like, so at times you're like, talk to them like a real person, but then there's too much, and then like there's parents that hide everything from their kids. We're not those people. I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. When Elizabeth and I are fighting or we're arguing or whatever, it's not like I go, get in the room. I don't. We'll have the argument and they hear us. I mean, they're older now, but it's like, one's not better than the other. It's just not. It's like, and then with epilepsy, our oldest son, Jake, has epilepsy. And so we've gone through horrible stuff. And we get so frustrated if he'll have, years ago when he would have a breakthrough seizure, we'd be so mad at epilepsy, at this uncontrollable thing that we can't do anything about. And we would argue, I'd be like, where's that hat? Where the hell, like you, right. We all do it. I do it every day.
Because the event touches you off, and we're all artists at the end of the day, and so we make a living on our emotions. And if you're a good artist, the one thing in life you can't control is your emotions. You can't control them. You're going to feel how you're going to feel, and you're going to sometimes you talk about the breakthrough seizure, you're going to have the breakthrough anger or the breakthrough crazy or whatever, and you're right. Those, it could be the seizure, or it could be someone else, a non-factoring event outside your family that you read an email or you get a call and, it's something. And then all of a sudden that all takes, it's like a blanket on the family, the kids, the parents, and everything. So
no, it's true. And I'm learning this. So The Caregiver is this series where I'm going around and I'm speaking to other caregivers. And my son is independent. He's everything. He has a job. But I'm always thinking about him. I'm always worried about him. We make sure he takes his medicine and all that stuff. I'm a caregiver for him. It's not a full-time nurse type caregiver, but everybody's got something. If your kid has asthma, if your kid has this and that, you're a caregiver for them. You're worried about them. And so when I go around the country now and I speak, people can go to the Caregiver series on YouTube or search Caregiver and Greg Grunberg, and you'll see the series. And it's just been eye-opening. It's been therapeutic. It's like this. It's like, you just want to talk. You know what's crazy is you go on social media, everybody's the perfect couple. Every family's the perfect family. Fuck that shit. No one's fucking perfect. And if you're going to say, there's nothing wrong with showing appreciation for your spouse or your relative or something on social media. But if it's so deep and sincere, I see these long notes and I'm like, the person's in the other room. You fucking live with them. What are you doing this on social media for?
It's always that. It's like the person who starts out a conversation by saying, "Now, I never lie." Well, yeah, you do. You're a liar.
I'm not a racist, but what I want to tell you is like, whoa, don't say anything. Don't stop saying.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Anybody who puts that cursor at the top, you're like, okay. That's so funny. Anytime I see, you talk to people and they go, we've never had a fight. We're madly in love. And my first thought is murder, suicide. That's the couple, right? Like those are the people who, right?
Yes.
It's always the kid who's like, he was so quiet. And then he shot up the place. Yeah, he locked because he was bottling it in. We are four redheads.
How about that?
Redheads.
How about that couple? The redheads. How about that couple that where her body was found and then his body was found? Like the social media pictures leading up to that, I was like, these are pictures that come with the frame.
That's right.
You mean the van, Gabby, and where he murdered her and then he went off and Or how sad is this? I'm laughing.
That on Thursday.
But it just broke yesterday that our police were called to do a wellness check on this house, and they found like 3 dead bodies, but like 3 bodies that have been dead for like. They said they were disintegrated, like basically completely decomposed. And then the family in Canada is like, we haven't heard from them in a year. We thought we might send someone down there. Like that's also not the family you want. That doesn't check in.
Well, my guess is that family was cashing some welfare checks because that happens a lot too. They go, oh, no, grandma's still alive. She's down in the basement. We'll take that check for her. And then she's mummified down there.
Right. Like
buried in the backyard, and they're just cashing the checks for a long time.
Oh, God. That really happens? That's crazy.
That happens a lot, actually. Yeah.
How did you find out with your oldest? Like, when did the epilepsy become apparent? When did he present the symptoms?
So right before his 7-year checkup, we noticed, or teachers, one of his teachers actually said, he like zoned out for a second. Like and I've noticed it a couple times. I'm like, all right. And then Elizabeth said, I noticed it a couple, and we're talking about like no bobbing of the head, nothing shaking, just like a stare, and then comes back. And you're like, and when I noticed it was, we'd be driving in the car and he was like 6.5, almost 7. And when you look out the window, your eyes follow things like your pupils. If you look at somebody's eyes, and that may have been a trigger for him. And so we'd be in the car, and when we'd be talking, we're like, Jakey, so what was that thing what was that song you love? And no answer. And I'm like, Jake, Daddy's talking to you, Jake. And he's like, what? And I go, dude, I just asked you a question. Come on, pay attention. And I would reprimand him, but not in a bad way, but like, go, come on, man, pay attention. Mommy just asked you a question. What's going on? And I remember that a couple of times. So when I was at the doctor, and a lot of parents are like in denial. They just won't think, whatever, it's normal. It's not normal. And so I told the doctor, his pediatrician, and his pediatrician said, look, I'm not a neurologist, but that may have been an absence, which is a little, it could be a staring spell. It could be an emotional outburst. It's your brain, remember, right? So it could be a tic. It could be, any kind of a shaking or whatever. So the doctor said, Jake, do me a favor, breathe a lot, breathe in and out, in and out. He made him hyperventilate. And then all of a sudden he went like this, and he was like, in a seizure.
Wow.
And he popped out of it and he goes, I think he has epilepsy. I'm not sure. And we were like, what are you talking about? And then the second thing was, let's fix this. Let's do what we can. Let's go.
Right.
So we went to a neurologist and most neurologists do not specialize in epilepsy. So you have to see an epileptologist. We learned that the hard way because that neurologist, great neurologist, but just over medicated and prescribes to a toxic level this one drug. And so then we learned, by the way, that most cases, 75% of cases, the first medication stops the seizure and you're fine. And then you just take that medicine until you can maybe get off of it later in life, whatever. Jake's not that. Jake falls under the 25% that needs like sort of a cocktail and you need to stay on top of it. So Jake literally takes a handful of, amazing medication, but it kind of sickens me to my stomach that he takes all this, but he takes it in morning and night. And he's doing really, really well. I mean, you would never, that's the thing is it doesn't use the word present. It doesn't present like epilepsy doesn't present. So there's a lot of misunderstanding. There's a lot of, people just are stupid when it comes to epilepsy. They're ignorant. I shouldn't say stupid. They just don't know. And it's very scary to see someone have a seizure, but you cannot choke on your tongue. It's not contagious. You can't get it from somebody. Sometimes there's no reason why it comes. Jake has a perfect brain. I mean, how frustrating is it for a parent when the doctors and the nurses, they do a scan, an overnight EEG and all this stuff, and they go, God, his brain is perfect. And you're like, well, clearly it's not. He's having seizures. So I've become the red phone for for our industry, certainly, actors and stuff. And there's a lot of people that are dealing with this. And I'm happy to do it. I started talkaboutit.org, which is a website devoted to the stigma and education of people with epilepsy and seizures. So if you go there, you'll see every star in the world, minus you guys. I'm going to get you guys on there, answering questions, doing PSAs and stuff, and which is really cool. And then it's morphed into different things. And Jazz Pharmaceuticals right now is financing the Caregiver series, and I love this company.
Amazing, man.
That's awesome.
Question from the audience. Dave Schrader asks, Greg, have you tried cannabinoid oil for his epilepsy treatment?
So Jake's not one of the people that, that's what they use it for his type of epilepsy, but the company Jazz Pharmaceuticals, they make Epidiolex. That's their medication. That's the first FDA approved cannabinoid, medication. And, we have tried it. And the one time you don't want to have seizures is in your sleep. Like if you have seizures in your sleep, no, by the way, Cheryl, nope, video games don't affect Jake, but they affect a lot of people. A lot of times, so if you have seizures in your sleep, you're not getting that deep REM sleep, right?
Okay.
Your brain is like seizing and then you sleep. So you get up in the morning, now you are sleep deprived, which is a major trigger for seizures. So it's just this terrible cycle.
Oh, okay.
And then during the day, you got to take a nap. Like if you really want to take care of yourself, meditation, naps, if you can, whatever form of that I recommend for people. I just say not right away, but I'm saying if they're, adults that want to manage their seizures or even kids. But the most important thing is getting to the right physician, getting the right medication, and getting it under control, because the seizures are not going to hurt you, but the trauma, the head falling, the hitting your head on the ground, driving, swimming, riding a bike. I mean, imagine having Jake's had seizures in all three of those places.
Oh my gosh.
Really scary.
That's really scary, man.
Yeah,
now, how does your younger son react to because obviously this has been going on his whole life. How does he react to it? And how do you deal with it?
Yeah, like two younger. We sent them away. No, I'm kidding.
Makes sense.
Fair.
I was like, whatever.
They're part of my gang now.
We'll get Daddy another beer. It's so funny. It's a great question because it's one that I talk about all the time. If you have an issue, and a lot of people do, with one of your kids, that's special time. Whether good special time or bad special time, you're spending extra time with that kid. And your other two, they don't know how to express it. And then all of a sudden, Ben, my middle guy, who's now graduating college this year, when he was 7 or 8, he said, "I wish I had epilepsy." And we were like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
What? I mean, it's just like Jamie. It's just like what you said about like they know how to get right to it, man.
I mean, it's Madeline.
Yeah.
Right? The book Madeline, she has the appendix, and the other kids are like, wait, she got special attention and ice cream. I want that.
And now I remember when I was a little kid, I have an older brother and a younger sister, and I remember my parents did this thing called special time, and I was like, it was weird. I was like, not weird, but it was great because they'd say, okay, tonight's your night, Greg, and I just went out with my mom and dad, just me alone, and I could do anything. They were like, whatever you want to do, and it was always like bowling or it was nothing like super cheap. It's not like I want to go on a yacht. I mean, I was a little kid. And it was just that special time with my parents. So I remember that not only do each one of your kids need special time, and then Jake, he wants real special time, not special time in a hospital, right?
Right.
You and your partner need special time. I mean, you have to have a healthy sexual relationship, mental relationship, friendship. All of that is strained when you're dealing with something extra.
I mean, it's strained anyway. So I'm always amazed when I see sometimes like I have my father's brother. His family has 9 children, and one of them was in a crib her whole life for like 32 years or something. And in a strange way, it brought everybody together as one unit. Like they were so defensive. It was almost like the Alamo where they put a wall around the family.
Yeah.
One as caregivers, they all became caregivers in the family, and they took turns. And as they grew up, it was this major thing that kind of bonded the family into this oddly tight unit. But I mean, as a parent trying to deal with just normalcy, like, I was ready to put my fist through a wall last night without any over a cheerleading outfit. So to deal with the other stuff is insanity.
How about you're in a group? I'll give you 3 examples. You're in a group and you're standing there and Jake starts to have a seizure. And one of the other dad that I don't even know is like, hey, what are you doing, buddy? What is he dancing? What's he doing over there? And you're like, dude, like he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. And he's got a bad sense of humor. And so that's his joke, right? How about when there's a terrible epilepsy joke on in a movie, and it's like you go, it's like, I mean, I hate to bring up Chris Rock again, but like, he said something offensive that he shouldn't have said. I am of the mind in that thing. I get the first call. People are like, call up. Forgot what it was. It was Tower Heist was the movie. Brett Ratner was the director, and I got a call going, did you see this thing? It was like Eddie Murphy going, oh, little seizure boy. And I'm like, to Ben Stiller, right? And I'm like, that is so not funny. Like, it's not even forgetting that it's epilepsy. It's just not funny. It's like stupid. So I tweeted out, stupid joke, not funny. Come on, guys. 3 of my favorite people in Hollywood, as far as talented, and that's what you come up. Boycott, I wrote. And I literally, Brett Ratner called me. He will not say he apologized, but he was very nice on the phone and said, dude, I never meant to, offend anyone, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just saying, like, I'm of the mind that was offensive to me. But I'm like, if somebody's talking about it or they're talking about it, at least we're getting it out there and it opens up the conversation. It's like some super religious person hounding me about God. And I'm like, leave me alone. I'm Jewish. I don't want to talk to you about this. And then they go, oh, you're Jewish. Did you know that? But whatever it is, it just gets you talking. You know what I mean? Like, that's their whole point. They want to fucking get you talking.
Yeah.
So there is that side of me where I'm like, just engage the conversation. We shouldn't be afraid of this. And then the third thing that, and a lot of parents will relate to this, is even if you don't have a child with an issue, when somebody says, oh my God, you're such good parents. How do you do it? Claire, you have so many kids. Oh my God, you're the best mom in the world. How do you do it? You're like, what are you talking about? What am I supposed to do? I love my family. I love my kids. But people do it. They don't mean anything by it. But it's that saccharine sympathy. Like, I don't know.
You know what? I just was thinking about this today. And I was like, how many people are like, well, this leads into other areas. But so many people are like, oh, I would die for my kids. that's like, of course, we all would, but you have to live for your kids. You have to lead by example. You have to be the one like taking the extra moments, taking the time. And now that my oldest daughter is 14, and I talked about this last episode, shifting my mindset away from like, okay, it's not all like homemade baby food and diapers. And now it's like me understanding she's like this crazy human being in a 14-year-old body. Like her brain is not developed, but it's not developed. She's got social skills, but they're a little wonky, you know? And like looking at her kind of like an alien, and everything she throws at me, just being like, that's cool, whatever. Like, I mean, just yesterday called me like several times while I was trying to have a little special time with River, another one of my daughters, you know, just between picking them up at noon and taking her to dance, just like the minimal things, and calls me and gets so mad at me because I won't stop at McDonald's for her, which I'm like, look, we're not eating McDonald's, not happening, not doing, you know. And I just had to laugh because I'm like, she's so angry at me, she hates me, she's telling everyone what a horrible mom I am because I'm not going to get her a Big Mac, you know.
Well, you
should reboot Heroes, and nobody has any superpowers. It's just a bunch of people who have a lot of kids, and they're heroes.
Exactly.
And then people are like, what do you do? Nothing. I'm watching my kids today. I'm like,
they have names like Octomom.
So I have a question for you. My wife. So a lot of times, you said earlier about your son, how you figured it out. A lot of times when I talk to my wife, blank. She doesn't. It's honestly like she's in a trance. Do you think she has epilepsy?
I do not. And I get that from a couple of different people. There are times where I'm like, it's so weird. It's so weird that you say that. And we're getting deep here, and I'm not going to name names. But there are a couple people in my life, like, I'm talking to them, and they're just like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it's because you and I are super fucking controlling people, and they don't want to deal with. It's a weird thing. It's like they just sort of turn off, and then I'm like,
oh, she's turned me off. She's turned.
Yeah. No, it's not epilepsy.
I mean, to be fair, the kids have as well. It's like
it's a personality disorder, but guess who has it?
It's
you and me.
Yeah, it's me. Okay, all right. Well, I think we got to. Well, I think I'm fixed. I think that's.
I have a question for you guys. Let's change subject here,
yes.
Because I don't know anything about having girls, and I saw some girls in that opening montage, and I know, Claire, you have beautiful girls. What is it like? I mean, so I'll just share a little story, right? You know, the kids, they go, there used to be this place called Millions of Milkshakes, and like all the kids would get on a bus. It was like an outing. They get on a bus, go to this place called Millions of Milkshakes, have a milkshake, whatever, and then come back, and or they go to a bar mitzvah, or they go to a quinceañera, or they go to a party, whatever. So they all get on this bus, right? And then so it meets in the parking lot somewhere. This is like, you know, or not a bus or whatever. But when the girls dress up to go to these events and these dances and proms and stuff, I'm talking about 14, Claire. That's why you said 14. Sam went to this bar mitzvah, 13. They had to get on a bus. They took him somewhere to like a hotel, something, came back. I'm waiting with a bunch of dads, and I didn't know it was dark, and I didn't even know these guys was at the out here where I live. And I'm waiting, and the bus stops, and these girls get off the bus, and I'm like, and I turn to this guy and I go, what is with all the prostitutes? Because the way they were dressed, it was unbelievable. I was like, this is so bad, right? And the guy goes, I go, look at that girl right there. And he goes, that's my daughter. And she comes over right to him. And I go, dude, you cannot let her get out of the house like that again. And he goes, I talked about that with my wife. I mean, I don't know, if it's true or not, but I got busted, but I handled it. I just like rolled with it. I'm like, come on, man. And it's true. And our bar mitzvah,
right, by the way, they are. It's funny. Like, you ever go to when we go to an audition, the boys are all watching the girls, and the girls are all watching the other girls. Like, that's what she's right. They dress up for the other girls. It's so funny. It's
true. And it's very true, because they do that because they're so young. At our bar mitzvahs, the girls come and they're in these like high heelish type shoes and short dresses or whatever. As soon as they get to the party, they bring socks with them. And the second they get to the party, they take the stupid shoes off that they shouldn't be wearing for years to come. And they put socks on. And if they were in sweats, they'd feel more comfortable. And then they're all dancing around having a good time. It's this, I mean, it's obviously it's a bigger issue. It's society, it's peer pressure, it's social media and all that. But how do you deal with that as a parent of when she says, I want to wear this, and you're like, are you kidding me? No.
Well, have you seen the American Apparel billboards?
Yeah.
Every time we drive by it, I'm like, hey, that feels like softcore porn.
Yes.
On the corner of Colfax and Moore Park. What's happening? This is insanity. Yeah.
It's so true.
It is. And look at the Instagram, and they are carving their body. They're fixing everything in Photoshop, and then the kids trying to look like the Instagram photo and stuff.
No, I definitely I haven't encountered that yet, but especially with my 12-year-old who's the dancer, I have had to be like, that's not a dance pose that you're allowed to post. You're not allowed to, it doesn't matter. It's impressive that your leg is up here, but if you're wearing a leotard and not pants, and then all of a sudden that's just like full display. So I've had a lot of talks with her about like, this brand of dancewear is not, because she's being solicited to be a model for different brands.
How old is River?
12. She just turned 12. But and she has
the early 1800s. She'd be married she'd be having her first kid.
Hey, in Alabama, she'd be married.
And actually, in Alabama, in 2023, it's going to happen. Yeah,
I think though that it'll be one of those situations where she'll thank you later, and she'll be like, "I'm so glad you did," because there are parents that I see, and their kids are older, like even girls that are older than in college, and these really, because we didn't have this when we were growing up. We just didn't. We didn't have this social media thing where you
had to go to a red carpet event to get somebody to take your picture, and then it had to be put in a magazine.
Yeah,
like that was how far it went.
They still was promiscuity. I mean, come on.
When you were kids,
there was that, but there wasn't social media.
Trying to push the envelope, sure.
No, sure, but I'm talking about like if your friend,
access.
If your friend took a picture of you, it would only be, you'd have to go to the little Kodak building and get your little, film.
Everyone in the whole place already looked at it. They already looked at it. Oh, look at them all.
Yeah.
They're like Robin Williams.
Yeah. I mean, and the stuff that's the stuff that rises to the top. And you kind of go, in 5 years when she's trying to get a job somewhere, that comes up. It's not in good taste. It's like it stays with you forever.
I also had to explain to both my girls, like you just because, and I actually like TikTok as a platform. I think it's creative. Like I think it's really creative. If it's used in the right way, it's great. You know what I mean? But I had to explain, like, you don't want to pull back the curtain and show everything about yourself on these
platforms.
Why
I stopped posting nude videos over there, Claire.
Right.
I mean, the best thing about TikTok is the fact that all these people who were pretty good at lip syncing and had a few terrible dance moves, they had nowhere to express themselves. And now, luckily, they have TikTok.
Exactly. By the way, here's the other thing that's like when people ask you, hey, my daughter, my son wants to become an actor. I'm like, run away. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because I don't care how many times I say don't do it. If they still push through, then they're meant to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Claire, it's kind of hypocritical for you to say, no, you can't be in a cheerleading outfit. I mean, you are this actress who is really good actor, number one, but also very attractive and have your career. You were a cheerleader in a movie, and so they see that stuff, and it's like, well, what about you, Mom? I mean,
I was like buried alive in a bikini.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, it's kind of tough to be like, you can't, but I did.
Yeah,
see, this house is because I did, but you can't.
This is.
I was like, they're offer only, brother. They're offer only. That's what they say. And they go, what do you mean? And I go, they're not going out for some go-see in Russia. If you want to offer them, listen, series regular, yeah, I'll bring them in for a couple read-throughs, sure. But I'm not driving my kid around to cattle calls left and right.
It's called Zoom. It's called Zoom. Don't do
it. And Greg and I have mastered
auditioning.
Right.
Yeah, Greg and I have mastered the art of just putting our kids in our projects.
Claire, we have to wrap at 2 because you have to go. I want to talk about the fact that you two played a married couple, not just once.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, yeah. Wait, we weren't married in Big Ass Spider.
We were married. From Halloween. You wanted you wanted to date me in Big Ass Spider, and then in the end,
I wanted to do more than date you.
Yeah.
Uglies, I believe, is the term.
And then in Tales of Halloween, we were married.
Yes.
And that was our reunion. And then in the next Big Ass Spider, which we are still going to make with Lombardo because we have to.
We have to.
And Mike Mendez, because that was such a great time.
We showed the trailer last week, Greg. It was pretty great. It's
pretty fantastic.
Oh, Big Ass Spider?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man, I wish
great movie. Oh, no. It's great. Look, we had the luxury. I mean, we got lucky because Lombardo is like Claire is like me. I don't mind standing there and making Claire look hilarious. Like I'll throw softballs.
I'm not even sure if we had a script for that movie.
but it's like there are certain actors that just it's look at me, and that's not the three of us. So it was so great. Like when Claire shined, she shined. When I shined, it was like, oh my God. And Bardo stole the movie just because that's who he is. But I mean, it was so much fun. I would work. Claire's one of those people that I'll work with anytime.
I'm starting to see why you work so much. You're a really good actor, but you're a good cat, man.
I'm a good guy, man.
He's super charming, yes.
Like 30 minutes, I'm like, yeah, I want to hang out with this guy.
Oh, you're so sweet.
You want to drink the peanut butter and jelly whiskey.
I definitely want to do that.
The JJ question, because you brought it up at the beginning.
That's right.
So JJ and I met each other when we were 4 and a half in elementary school. And we just laughed. We became best friends. We would walk home from school every day to his house because he lived close to, we went to Roscommare Elementary School in LA. And we would walk to his house and we'd make these stupid fake commercials. He was into, super special effects and stuff. So we made these little movies. Every one of his movies, Super 8 movies, I starred in when we were 8, 9, 10, 11.
So and you paid your dues.
What?
You paid your dues with him.
Exactly. And we kept that friendship. He went to a different junior high and high school, and college. But he was still my best friend.
Where did you guys grow up?
Right in West LA.
You're from LA. Okay.
Yeah, we're from LA. He went to Sarah Lawrence. I went to San Diego State. There's the separation of intelligence right there. Today, San Diego State today is hard to get into. Then
you were smart. You were off having fun, going, JJ, listen to me. I need you to become a master filmmaker. I'll be back in 4 years. I'm going to go tear up San Diego, see what I can get done in Pacific Beach, and then we'll meet. We'll reteam.
My dad once at Shakey's. We were at Shakey's, if you remember Shakey's Pizza, and
still have it. Still Valley.
It's on
Laurel Canyon.
Yes.
Yeah, Laurel Canyon. By the way, my building is right up the street from there, so you guys have to come by. You have to come by and see this.
On my way. I'm coming for that.
But we were at Shakey's, and my dad took a napkin and he wrote, "I get 10% of whatever J.J. Abrams makes in his career." J.J. was 10, and he pushed it over to J.J. and he was like, "Sign this, please." And it was a joke. It was funny, but we always remember it. We all knew he's just, and talk about the Parents Lounge. This is what I have with JJ more than anything else. There's no judgment. I don't give a shit what I say. He doesn't care. He is my best friend. He's like my brother. He's been there with me, for me, through all of this epilepsy stuff, everything in my life. The best times, my best man. I was his best man. It's like he's just the greatest guy in the world. And
I have
people like, oh, you're so lucky.
Exactly like that. And he runs shipping for UPS out of Worcester, Mass. So if you're ever there and you need something shipped, I can definitely put a call in. I'm pretty close. It might take a couple hours to get it shipped, but I can get it.
Well, Worcester, Mass. That's right where Sarah Lawrence is. So
I'm actually from New Hampshire.
Oh, you are? That's funny. No, but my point was that everybody says, "God, you're so lucky," and it's like, nah. All this stuff is icing on the cake. I mean, we're doing a show together right now in Arizona, and it's a blast. All I want to do is work with him. I'm lucky that he's incredibly prolific, and he is who he is. But we both want to work with each other as much as we can. It's just too much fun.
Well, when you get to this,
because you fit it all. Go ahead, Claire.
Yeah, no, Jamie. I mean, I'm sure we're about to say the same thing, but when you get to this age and in this crazy business, you don't want to work with people who you're not friends with. Yeah. You don't want to work with like the pain in the asses, the whatnot. It's if you're sacrificing, leaving your kids, leaving your house, because sometimes going on location can be months, longer weeks, months, days. There has to be a reason that you're making that sacrifice. And it's not just to do another project. It's because you want to be with, people you care about and you enjoy working with, and you want to make something, somewhat meaningful.
I mean, we 2 Star Wars movies. That was like the dream of all dreams. And I'm in London with JJ. We're spending every moment together, whether I'm working on set or not. That we, cut. That's a wrap. We both get in the same car. We go to dinner with. I mean, it was like being on a trip with my best friend.
Yeah.
And then we're shooting fucking Star
Wars. And you're making Star Wars.
Yeah.
I remember when you sent me a picture of you in the jumpsuit and you were like, don't share this.
I know, remember?
Oh my God.
Yeah. But you have a Lego character of you.
Yeah, there's a new Lego Star Wars game that the something saga. It just came out, and I just tweeted out how to unlock my character. And I've actually voiced my character. That was the other thing. Cool. Imagine this. They call and they go, or somebody saw that they were looking for a Snap Wexley voice. And I'm like, what are you talking about? How about asking me? Like, what? and because it was scale, they don't pay any money, really. It's just the minimum. And I'm like, I don't care. If my friends are playing the game, I want them to hear my voice, not someone else's.
Isn't that funny? Some people won't do it. They're like, no, that's beneath me. You're like, it's so crazy.
Nothing is beneath any of us today.
I've learned that.
Yeah.
Very much so this time. Yeah, that's funny, dude. Well, listen, we got to wrap in a couple seconds. You're definitely coming back. You might.
For sure.
Okay, wait. And before you wrap, Jason, 3 boys, Greg, 3 boys. Advice, Greg.
Yes.
Pass down advice.
So that was going to be my question. Before we wrap, I want to hear. Jason is the old you, the pre-you, and now you have the older boys, 3 boys. We had Richard Marx, who had 3 sons.
Yep.
Words of wisdom about where you are now with what they're doing.
Well, I have to say, what I love about having boys is that when you have girls, you have to worry about every boy in the world. When you have boys, you only have to worry about one boy, and that's it. You have just your kids. I will say my advice is don't ever stop cuddling. Don't ever do it. Don't ever stop. My son just yesterday, we went to the dentist together to get our checkups, and we were waiting. The dentist was in there, and I don't know, he said something, and I was just like, yeah. And I gave him a hug, and he literally put his head down here, on me, and it was just a little bit. He's a grown man, and I was like, I melted. I'm like, God, I just don't ever. I mean, here's the thing, Jason. Your boys are not always going to hold your hand when they walk with you. They may not do it now. Like, that's the moment when you go, oh, I'm losing them. You know what I mean? They're getting older. Treasure every single moment, and relish, good and bad, when there's something that you see in them that they got from you, because they're sponges,
Did they turn out? It's so funny because when you have your kids, you think they're going to be like mini us or little us. Were you a big athlete as a kid? Were you a big baseball player?
I played baseball and I was an all-star in Little League, whatever. But I played basketball in high school, but never at this level. It was different back then. This is now every parent thinks their kid's going to be in the MLB and the NBA. I mean, or NFL. We're
doing soccer and we see it Van Nuys, the park over there, and all over the park is a one-on-one workout sessions.
Yeah.
Some dude who's like working out like a 6-year-old kid, like technically trying to work out their swing or their kick or whatever they're working on.
Yeah. And by the way, $120 an hour.
That's right.
So trust in the high school coaches. Know that natural talent's natural talent, and your kids are going to develop. So you don't have to worry. Like, if they're weak and small, whenever that changes, man, we all grow. Don't put any undue pressure on your kids. Let them have fun. And if they want, the other thing about living in California is everything's year round. So there's never not a time to play soccer. There's never not a time to play baseball. It's tough. You want to mix it up. I'm doing a huge documentary right now, baseball documentary that I'll tell you offline who I'm doing it on, but he's the link. He's the greatest. And he said to me, he's like, man, the biggest mistake people make is they just don't let their kids play football and baseball and basketball. It's like, let them have fun, do whatever they want. And then they can hone in, later. But don't worry about it.
So man, we even in like first and second grade, kids have quit all the other sports to focus on one sport.
Sport, yeah.
It's your sport already. But
I see dads who like tear their kids apart, and they're crying to the point that they don't even enjoy the game anymore. And I'm like, well, my kids will get all their coaching from whatever the prison league is that they play in later.
Hey, there's a lot of great players in the prison system, in the people system.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, a lot of opportunity there, actually.
Exactly.
Train with the best.
Yep.
All right, listen, this flew by. brother, you got to come back. And thanks
Oh, I'd love to.
We're going to keep it tight to 1 hour. And I guess that's all we got. I got to go off and now start drinking off camera, I guess.
Yeah,
Greg,
I'm
where
going to
can
go to a
people find
game.
you?
I'll let you know how the game goes.
Yes.
I cannot thank you guys enough. Honestly, I've been talking about doing this. I apologize before, but I'm now Mr. Ethernet. I've got it hooked up here at the house, so we're good. But I would love to join, even if I'm not the guest and I just want to be a fly on the wall. Let me
Yes,
know.
you're welcome anytime. Like
we don't do a lot of guests because you as a guy who's done podcasts, did you get to a point where you just got sick of interviewing people?
Yeah.
I just want to chat, and so hearing your stories and stuff, it doesn't feel like an interview. It just feels like it's rolling.
Just chat.
Super fun. So please come back. We'll hit you up to come back again.
Where can people find you, Greg?
What's that?
Where can people find you?
At Greg Grunberg. Search The Caregiver or the Greg Grunberg channel on YouTube and the Caregiver series.
I will
Twitter.
also share a link of The Caregiver out, and everybody
We'll
can
put all the links up with it tonight on the Parents Lounge and stuff, dude.
Yeah, but Instagram and Twitter both, and Facebook, all Greg Grunberg. Yeah.
And
talkaboutit.org.
You are entrenched in it. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Grunberg, Claire Kramer, Jason Gowan, I'm Jamie Kaler. Thank you all for joining. Be sure to follow, subscribe, like, and tell other parents who need a little mental health break to come visit us because, honestly, just talking to you guys and hearing what other people are going through, especially with epilepsy and all these special things. There's so many other people who are dealing with these issues, but they don't really reach out and they're kind of stuck in it, but everybody's going through their own problems. So it's great to hear other people. And thank you so much for sharing it, man. It's really, really kind.
It's my pleasure. And I hope you guys have a really good day.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
That's it. We'll see you next time here on the Parents Lounge. Love y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.